The courtroom fell silent as the judge banged the gavel, sealing the fate of what had once been Zaid Thompson's perfect life. At 35, the self-made millionaire from Silicon Valley stared blankly at the empty chair where his boyfriend, Jake Harlan, should have been sitting, but Jake had vanished overnight with over $2 million from Zaid's accounts. In that moment, Zaid realized the man he'd loved for 3 years wasn't just a lover. He was a con artist who'd played him like a fool, leaving behind a trail of forged documents and shattered trust. Zaid had built his fortune from nothing. Growing up in a conservative suburb of Chicago, he'd hidden his sexuality through high school, burying himself in code and algorithms to escape the judgmental eyes of his devout Catholic family. His parents, devout believers who quoted Bible verses at every family dinner, had always preached about traditional values, marriage between a man and a woman, and the sins of deviation. Zaid moved to California at 18, chasing the tech boom, and founded a cybersecurity firm that skyrocketed during the pandemic. By 30, he was worth millions, living in a sleek San Francisco penthouse with views of the Golden Gate Bridge. But success came at a cost: loneliness. He dated discreetly, fearing tabloid exposure that could alienate investors or, worse, his family back home. That's when Jake entered his life. They met at a charity gala for LGBTQ rights, where Jake, a charming 28-year-old artist from New York, captivated Zaid with stories of his struggles coming out in a small town. Jake's paintings depicted raw emotions of isolation and love, mirroring Zaid's own hidden pains. Their first date was a quiet dinner overlooking the bay, where Jake confessed his dreams of opening a gallery but lacked the funds. Zaid, smitten, offered to help, not realizing it was the beginning of the end. Over months, their relationship deepened. Jake moved in, and Zaid introduced him to friends as his partner, though he kept it from his family. "They wouldn't understand," Zaid would say, his voice laced with guilt. Jake seemed to get it, holding him through nights when Zaid wrestled with the fear of rejection. But cracks appeared slowly. Jake's spending habits escalated: luxury trips, expensive art supplies, all charged to Zaid's cards. Zaid brushed it off as love's indulgence, but his accountant flagged irregularities: wire transfers to unknown accounts, investments in Jake's projects that yielded no returns. Zaid confronted Jake one rainy evening in their penthouse. "What's going on with the money?" he asked, heart pounding. Jake's eyes filled with tears. "I was trying to surprise you with a gallery opening. I messed up the finances." Zaid forgave him, pouring more money in, desperate to believe in their future. The truth exploded when Zaid's firm audited its books. Jake had forged signatures, siphoned funds through shell companies. Zaid's lawyers advised pressing charges, but his heart resisted. "He loves me," Zaid insisted to his best friend, Maria, a sharp-tongued lawyer who'd warned him about Jake from the start. "People change." Maria shook her head. "Love doesn't steal, Zaid." In the end, the evidence was overwhelming. Jake fled before the police arrived, leaving a note: "I'm sorry. It wasn't all a lie." Zaid crumpled it, feeling the weight of betrayal crush his chest. The scandal hit the news. "Tech tycoon duped by boyfriend in multimillion scam," headlines screamed. Investors pulled back, stocks dipped. But the real pain was personal. Zaid's sister, Emily, called from Chicago. Mom and Dad saw the news. They're devastated, not just about the money, but, Zaid hadn't come out to them. The media did it for him. His father's voice on the phone was cold. "We raised you better than this abomination." The word stung like a slap. Zaid hung up, alone in his empty home, questioning every decision. Was his success worth the isolation? Had he been so desperate for love that he'd ignored the red flags? As weeks turned to months, Zaid rebuilt. He threw himself into work, expanding his company into AI ethics, channeling his pain into advocacy for fraud victims in the LGBTQ community. But nights were haunted by memories. Jake's laugh, their shared dreams. Therapy sessions revealed deeper wounds. The internalized homophobia from his upbringing. The fear that being gay made him unworthy of genuine love. "You chose vulnerability," his therapist said, "and it backfired. But that doesn't define you." Zaid nodded, but doubt lingered. He dated sporadically, but trust was shattered. Friends urged him to move on, but the scar ran deep. 1 year later, a private investigator Zaid hired tracked Jake to a dingy apartment in Los Angeles. Jake was living hand-to-mouth, his art career in ruins. Zaid debated confronting him but chose restraint, filing a civil suit instead. The court awarded him restitution, but Jake had nothing left. "Why did you do it?" Zaid whispered to himself, staring at Jake's photo. The answer eluded him, fueling a quiet rage. Society's whispers didn't help. Comments online labeling him naive or worse, implying gay relationships were inherently unstable. Zaid fought back publicly, speaking at conferences about vulnerability and love, but privately he armored his heart. 2 years after the betrayal, Zaid stood at his company's annual gala, a forced smile masking the emptiness inside. His firm had recovered, profits soaring, but personal life remained a void. He'd cut ties with his family after a disastrous Thanksgiving visit where his mother prayed over him to cure his sins, and his father refused to look him in the eye. "You're not welcome until you repent," his father had said. Zaid left in tears, vowing never to return. The rejection amplified his isolation, making him question if coming out, forced as it was, had been a mistake. Enter Ryan, a 32-year-old journalist covering tech ethics. They met at the gala. Ryan's insightful questions about AI's role in privacy sparked a connection. Unlike Jake, Ryan was grounded, with a stable job and no hidden agendas. Their first coffee turned into dinner, then weekends exploring the city. Ryan came from an accepting family in Seattle, openly gay since college. "My parents threw me a coming-out party," he laughed. Zaid envied that freedom, sharing bits of his past cautiously. Ryan listened without judgment, his empathy a balm to Zaid's wounds. As their relationship grew, Zaid faced internal turmoil. Trust issues surfaced, checking Ryan's phone, questioning late nights at work. "I'm not him," Ryan said gently during one argument. "But if you can't let go, this won't work." Zaid apologized, committing to therapy. Yet, societal pressures loomed. At a business dinner, a conservative investor sneered, "Heard about your little scandal. Hope you've learned to keep personal matters private." Zaid bit back a retort, but it fueled his anger at a world that judged him doubly, for being scammed and for being gay. Meanwhile, whispers of Jake's whereabouts reached Zaid. The PI reported Jake in rehab, battling addiction that stemmed from his own abusive childhood. Part of Zaid pitied him, but betrayal's sting prevailed. "He chose to hurt me," Zaid told Maria. She nodded. Forgiveness isn't obligatory. But Zaid pondered morality. Was Jake a product of his environment, or purely malicious? The debate raged in his mind, mirroring broader societal questions about accountability in relationships. Ryan proposed a trip to meet his family, a step Zaid dreaded. "What if they hate me?" he asked. Ryan squeezed his hand. "They won't." The visit was warm hugs, stories, acceptance. For the first time, Zaid felt seen without shame. But returning home, a letter arrived, from Jake, begging for a meeting. "I need to explain." Zaid tore it up, but curiosity gnawed. Against Ryan's advice, he agreed to meet in a neutral cafe. Jake looked haggard, eyes hollow. "I was drowning in debt from my past. You were my way out, but I fell for you too." Zaid scoffed. "Love doesn't steal." Jake admitted forging everything, driven by desperation after his own family disowned him for being gay. "I saw your life, successful, hidden, and envied it. But I ruined us both." Tears fell as Jake revealed he'd attempted suicide post-flight, now in recovery. Zaid left conflicted, the encounter reopening wounds. Was pity a path to healing, or a trap? Back with Ryan, Zaid confessed the meeting. Ryan was hurt but understanding. "You need closure." Their bond strengthened, but Zaid's family drama escalated. His sister Emily reached out secretly. "Mom's sick. She wants to see you, but Dad's stubborn." Zaid debated visiting, torn between duty and self-preservation. The moral quandary weighed heavy. Forgive familial bigotry for a dying parent? He chose to go, arriving to tense silence. His mother, frail in bed, whispered, "I'm sorry for not understanding." His father grumbled but stayed silent. It was a fragile truce, but Zaid felt a crack in his armor. As years passed, Zaid and Ryan built a life. They adopted a dog, bought a house in the suburbs. Zaid's advocacy grew. He funded scholarships for LGBTQ youth from conservative backgrounds. But Jake's shadow lingered. News came. Jake had turned his life around, opening a small gallery with honest work, donating proceeds to addiction recovery. Zaid wondered if redemption was possible. In therapy, he explored his own choices. Had he enabled Jake by ignoring signs, blinded by the need for love in a judgmental world? One evening, Ryan proposed marriage. Zaid said yes, but doubts crept in. Society's evolving acceptance clashed with lingering prejudices. Same-sex marriage was legal, but not everywhere embraced. Planning the wedding, Zaid faced backlash from old investors, testing his resolve. "Is love worth the fight?" he asked Ryan. "Always," came the reply. The ceremony was intimate, friends cheering, but Zaid's parents absent. The absence hurt, highlighting the ongoing battle against familial rejection. 5 years into his marriage with Ryan, Zaid's life seemed stable on the surface. His company thrived, specializing in protecting vulnerable communities from online scams. Ryan's career flourished, his articles exposing corporate fraud. They volunteered at LGBTQ centers, mentoring youth navigating identity crises. But beneath it all, Zaid grappled with unresolved anger. Dreams of Jake's betrayal haunted him, fueling a quiet obsession with justice. A turning point came when Emily called. Their father had a heart attack. "He wants to talk," she said. Zaid flew to Chicago, entering the hospital room with trepidation. His father, weakened, admitted, "I was wrong. The world changed, and I didn't." Tears flowed as they reconciled, his father acknowledging the pain he'd caused. "Your mother would be proud." She had passed 2 years prior, her final words urging forgiveness. The reunion mended a piece of Zaid's heart, but it sparked reflection. Had his own secrecy contributed to the family's rift? Moral ambiguity swirled. Personal choices versus societal expectations. Back in San Francisco, Ryan noticed Zaid's distraction. "What's eating you?" Zaid confessed lingering thoughts of Jake. "I need to know if he's truly changed." Ryan cautioned against it, fearing reopened wounds. But Zaid tracked Jake down, now a respected artist in Portland. They met in a park, tension thick. Jake, sober and composed, apologized deeply. "I was lost, using you to fill my voids. But therapy showed me my actions were inexcusable." He revealed he'd repaid some debts anonymously to Zaid's charity. Zaid listened, anger mixing with empathy. "Why tell me now?" Jake sighed. "Because I see your happiness. I want peace." The encounter forced Zaid to confront his role. Had his wealth made him a target, or was it his desperation for acceptance? Society's lens on gay men, as promiscuous or unstable, had amplified his shame, making him overlook Jake's flaws. Returning home, Zaid shared with Ryan, who supported him. "Forgiveness is for you, not him." Their marriage deepened, but external pressures mounted. A conservative backlash against LGBTQ rights surged, with laws targeting marriages. Zaid's firm faced boycotts, testing his ethics. Fight publicly, risking business, or stay silent. He chose to fight, speaking at rallies. "Love isn't a threat," he declared, drawing cheers and threats. One night, vandals targeted their home, spray painting slurs. Ryan held him as police investigated. "Is this the price?" Zaid asked. Ryan nodded. "But we're not alone." The incident united their community, but it highlighted the ongoing struggle against prejudice. Years blurred, and Zaid hit 45. His hair grayed, but purpose burned bright. Ryan suggested adoption, a dream they'd shelved. Navigating the process as a gay couple revealed biases. Agencies hesitant, paperwork endless. They persevered, welcoming a son, Liam, from foster care. Parenthood brought joy but amplified fears, protecting Liam from the world's judgments, teaching him resilience amid potential rejection. Jake resurfaced indirectly. A documentary on redemption featured him, crediting Zaid's unwitting influence for his turnaround. Zaid watched, mixed emotions surging. Friends debated. Was Jake's story inspirational or manipulative? Zaid pondered the ethics of second chances in a society quick to condemn. His own family evolved. His father visited, bonding with Liam. "Grandpa's learning," Zaid told Ryan, smiling through tears. But tension built when Liam, at 10, faced bullying at school for having two dads. Zaid's heart broke hearing the slurs, echoing his youth. He confronted the school, advocating for inclusivity programs. The fight exhausted him, questioning if progress was illusionary. Ryan's steadfast support grounded him, but internal conflicts raged. Had marrying Ryan been selfish, exposing them to hate? Moral dilemmas piled, personal happiness versus societal impact. A crisis hit when Zaid's firm uncovered a massive scam ring targeting LGBTQ individuals. Investigating, he discovered Jake's indirect involvement, not as perpetrator, but as informant helping authorities. Shocked, Zaid met Jake again. "I owed you," Jake said. "This is my amends." The revelation twisted Zaid's perceptions. Betrayal birthed unexpected alliance. A decade after the initial scam, Zaid sat in his office, staring at a file on his desk. The cybersecurity breach his team had just thwarted involved millions, and at its core was a network Jake had helped dismantle. Gratitude clashed with resentment. Jake's actions saved lives, but the original wound festered. Zaid debated reaching out, weighing forgiveness against justice. Ryan advised caution. "He's part of your past, not future." But fate intervened. At a conference on digital ethics, Zaid and Jake crossed paths as panelists. The audience buzzed, unaware of their history. During the discussion, Jake spoke eloquently on redemption. "We all make choices that hurt others. The real test is what we do next." Zaid countered, "Accountability matters. Victims shouldn't bear the burden of absolution." The exchange was electric, sparking debates online. Privately, they talked afterward. Jake revealed his own therapy journey, confronting childhood trauma from a homophobic father who beat him for acting girly. "I projected my pain onto you," he admitted. Zaid shared his family reconciliation, finding common ground in shared scars. The meeting shifted something in Zaid. He realized their story mirrored broader societal issues. How homophobia breeds desperation, leading to destructive choices. But was empathy excuse? Zaid returned home contemplative, discussing with Ryan. "Maybe hating him kept me stuck." Ryan hugged him. "Healing isn't betrayal to yourself." As Liam grew into a teenager, family dynamics evolved. Liam came out as bi, testing Zaid's reactions. "I'm proud," Zaid said, but internally feared for his safety in a polarizing America. Protests against LGBTQ rights intensified, with laws restricting education on diversity. Zaid's advocacy ramped up, funding legal battles. His father, now an ally, joined a rally, a full-circle moment. But costs mounted. Death threats, strained friendships with conservative colleagues. One betrayal stung deeply. Maria, his longtime friend, leaked company secrets to a rival, driven by jealousy over Zaid's success. "You have everything," she spat when confronted. The parallel to Jake hit hard, trust shattered again. Zaid pressed charges, but mercy tempered justice. He offered her rehab instead of jail, recognizing her addiction issues. The decision sparked internal debate. Was he too forgiving, repeating patterns? Ryan's health scare added pressure. A cancer diagnosis at 47. Zaid nursed him through treatments, confronting mortality. "If I don't make it, promise you'll live fully," Ryan whispered. Zaid vowed, but fear gripped him. The ordeal tested their vows, highlighting love's fragility amid societal apathy toward gay couples' rights. Ryan recovered, but the experience awakened Zaid to time's preciousness. Jake's life intersected again when he donated a painting to Zaid's charity auction. Titled Redemption's Price, It depicted two figures embracing amid shadows. Zaid bought it anonymously, hanging it as a reminder. Friends questioned, "Why keep that toxin?" Zaid replied, "It's a mirror to growth." Liam's high school years brought new conflicts. A teacher outed him to peers, igniting bullying. Zaid sued the school, winning a settlement that funded inclusivity training statewide. The victory was bittersweet, exposing Liam to media scrutiny. "Dad, is it worth it?" Liam asked. Zaid pondered. Activism's toll on family versus silence's complicity. As Zaid approached 50, reflections deepened. His empire expanded, but personal fulfillment came from mentoring. He wrote a memoir draft, grappling with narratives. Victim or enabler? Society's role in shaping choices? Ryan encouraged publication. Your story heals others. A final confrontation loomed. Jake contacted Zaid about a joint project, a foundation for LGBTQ scam victims. "We've both paid prices," Jake said. Zaid hesitated, consulting Ryan and Liam. "It's your choice," Ryan said. Zaid agreed, but with boundaries. The partnership succeeded, raising millions, but tensions arose over credit. Jake's ego surfaced, reminding Zaid of old patterns. A heated argument ensued. "You still think you're the hero," Zaid accused. Jake retorted, "And you play the martyr." The fallout tested alliances, forcing Zaid to choose. Continue for the greater good or walk away. In the Foundation's boardroom, Zaid faced Jake across the table, the air thick with unresolved history. Their project had flourished, aiding thousands, but personal clashes threatened its future. "We can't let egos destroy this," a board member pleaded. Zaid nodded, but inside moral scales tipped. Collaborating meant endorsing Jake's redemption publicly, potentially minimizing his own pain. Walking away risked abandoning the cause. He chose compromise, restructuring roles to minimize contact, prioritizing impact over personal vendetta. Years later, at 55, Zaid retired from his company, passing the torch to a diverse team. Ryan and he traveled, enjoying quiet moments. Liam, now in college studying social justice, called often. "You've taught me to fight," he said. Zaid smiled, but shadows lingered. His father's passing brought closure. In his will, he left funds to Zaid's foundation, a silent apology. Society had progressed, marriage equality solidified, but pockets of hate persisted. Zaid's memoir, published anonymously at first, sparked debates. Shadows of trust, love, betrayal, and redemption in a divided world. Readers argued online about Jake's portrayal, villain or victim. Zaid revealed his authorship in an interview, facing backlash. "You're glorifying a criminal," critics said. Supporters praised the nuance. It shows humanity's complexity. Jake's life took a downturn. Addiction relapsed, leading to a public fall. Zaid reached out privately, offering help without strings. "Why?" Jake asked, broken. "Because hate costs more than forgiveness." Jake accepted, entering rehab. The act divided opinions in Zaid's circle. Ryan supported, Maria, reconciled after her own redemption, warned of patterns. Liam's graduation was a pinnacle. As he spoke on stage about equality, Zaid teared up, seeing his legacy. But a twist emerged. Liam revealed he'd corresponded with Jake, viewing him as a cautionary tale turned mentor. "He's changed, Dad." Zaid felt betrayed initially. Had his son undermined his pain? Confronting Liam, they debated ethics, generational differences in forgiveness. "Your world was harsher," Liam said. "Ours can be kinder." Zaid reflected, acknowledging progress. In quiet retirement, Zaid and Ryan walked the beach, hands linked. "We've paid dearly," Zaid mused. Ryan kissed him. "But look what we've built." Memories flooded. Betrayal's sting, family's rejection, society's judgments, personal growth. Each choice carried weight, shaping not just their lives but ripples outward. The foundation thrived under new leadership, Jake contributing from afar. Zaid pondered the decade-long arc, from scam to uneasy alliance. Had justice been served, or mercy prevailed? Society's evolving views on LGBTQ issues mirrored his journey, from hidden shame to open advocacy, but at what cost? As the sun set, Zaid whispered a final thought, echoing the debates that defined his life. Was forgiving the ultimate act of strength, or does it sometimes enable the unforgivable?